So, yesterday, right before going to bed, I read this tweet. Oh my god, this guy is an idiot. He is an idiot. Absolute idiot. I must apologize on behalf of Iran to the neighboring countries that were attacked. We have no intention of invading neighboring countries. As I said again, they are our brothers. That from now on, Iran's armed forces must not attack or fire missiles at neighboring countries unless those countries seek to attack us. And think we must resolve this through diplomacy. Okay, let me explain why this is absolutely so idiot. For last week, the United States and Israel have not attacked Iranian oil infrastructure or Iranian desalination plants. The reason they haven't done that is that Iran has 20,000 short-range drones. They have a huge supply of these. These are not drones that can reach Israel, but they can reach the Gulf states. And if they wanted to, they could destroy all the oil infrastructure throughout the Gulf of the other countries, like Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, etc., and the desalination plants there. So it's the threat of that happening that has prevented the United States and Israel from attacking. Oh, thanks for following. Cool bro. Well, more cool bros we have here, the better. And so that's what's prevented them from attacking. When he says this, when he says we have no intention, he also said something that we attacked by accident. It was such wimpy diplomacy.
Cool X Bro 7.
Yeah. No problem, dude. Yes. Welcome to the stream. It's I'm in the middle of my little angry rant at the Iranian president for initiating an escalation, basically, because I was saying I was going to sleep. I see this tweet, and what goes through my mind is United States and Israel is immediately going to start bombing all Iranian's key infrastructure with this, because he's basically what the Iranian president said here is, as U.S. can bomb all our critical infrastructure, and we will not attack the Gulf states no matter what. And the one thing that has been staying Trump's hand and Israel's hand is Saudi Arabia saying, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. What happens if they attack our desalination plants? What happens if they attack our oil infrastructure? That is what has been stopping Trump's hand. And so I go to bed and I wake up, and what do I find? Let's go actually open a new tab. I want to be able to go back to this idiot's face. Bombing of Iran's airport will definitely take next stage. They bomb airports. Tehran's oil depot is completely consumed by a massive blaze after Israeli hits the facility tonight. Yep. It's everything that I thought they would do. They also attacked the desalination plant. And they're bombing. Yeah, they're just going all out bombing civilian infrastructure. And it's not an accident. It happened right after this idiot made his speech. And so let's have a video on this subject so I can continue ranting at various times. And also another reason that his tweet is so idiotic is because of Trump and the way Trump this seems like such a loser take. Like, we're sorry for attacking other countries. Oh my God. And he also, this thing he made that some of our divisions were acting without our control. It makes it seem like, oh yeah, we didn't mean to do that. We won't do it again. Oh my God, it's so stupid. Okay.
Just hours ago, let's take a look at what he said there. Iran, which is beat to hell, has apologized and surrendered to its Middle East neighbors. You're going, wow, they actually...
A Pakistani taxi driver died today because debris fell on a road today. Scary to think it's a road I'm frequently on. Oh, okay, yes, a Pakistani in Dubai, yes. Debris.
Surrendered. You call for full-scale...
Yeah, but that's war. It's You have to be careful.
or unconditional surrender yesterday. And here he's saying the very next day that they have surrendered to their Middle East neighbors. That's interesting.
Actually, when I saw that tweet by this guy, I was saying this is like a surrender. I mean, your deterrence, your ability to hit the number one scary thing about Iran right now is those short-range Grand drones. They can't reach Israel, but they can reach all the Gulf states. And this is the president of Iran saying, we won't use the Grand drones. U.S. can bomb us all they want and we won't use it. Of course it sounds like a surrender. That guy is an idiot.
Interesting. More on that in just a second. And promised that they will not shoot at them anymore. This promise was only made because of the relentless U.S. and Israeli attack.
Yes, that's because he interpreted it as they will not shoot them anymore. And to be fair to Trump, that's what that idiotic president basically said. I think I'm more at risk to die by this dumbass blaring siren alert on my phone than a missile drone. Is it? I told you at the first few days, it's all excitement. These things, because realistically, if Iran's attacking strategic targets, there's very little chance of the civilian that's away from them from dying. It's all fun. It's mainly inconvenience. It's mainly blaring sirens, ground shaking. Everyone stops what they're doing. It's a disruption. But 1 week in, 2 week wins, it stops being as fun, the blaring warning sirens on your phone. Yeah.
They were
Proton snail.
Beirut just got hit when I tapped in and heard a boom from the live stream. Okay, yeah, because that's what I'd expect. I mean, if someone in Iran has sense and is not as idiotic as that president, the immediate response to U.S. Israel bombing all these desalination plants. I mean, I'm just saying this realistically. Iran really doesn't want and lose any more desalination plants. That's the lifeblood. It's where they get water. It's absolutely key. And so you need to start attacking desalination plants throughout the Gulf. That's, even if you're not completely destroying them, you just need to at least hit them with a drone and do some damage to desalination plants in each of the Gulf states. The aim here isn't to destroy them. The aim here is to damage them, maybe put them offline for a little bit, but to send a message that if you bomb our desalination plants, we'll bomb yours. And that's what I would do if I was Iran. If they don't do that, pray to God that idiotic Iranian president is in charge. His people are going to suffer because United States, they bombed one desalination plant that I've heard of. They're going to probably go wait and see over the next 24, 48 hours. And if Iran doesn't attack desalination plants throughout the Gulf, you know what's going to happen? They're going to go in and bomb every single desalination plants in Iran. That's what they're going to do. This Iranian president went on the air and just loudly proclaimed complete weakness of Iran. And if he actually has any power in Iran right now, and if he keeps Iran from retaliating, oh my God, the Iranian people are going to suffer horribly.
looking to take over and rule the Middle East. It is the first time
I'll have a look at Bahrain and what happened there in a second. I'm just going to finish this
Iran
video.
has ever lost in thousands of years to surrounding Middle Eastern countries. All right, I'm going to push pause on that for just a second because he's about to say something else I want to comment on.
Yeah. Just this Trump response. And
Cast and said that overnight, according to this interpretation,
getting rage baited in a political context is hysterical. Yep. But that's what Trump does, especially on the international stage, which he really is an expert. So he's just blustering. You wanted to talk about Cuba, and we can look at that later. Yes, Trump is going after Cuba. People are suffering there because of the embargo, and it's a horrible situation. And the only reason I haven't spent more time on it is that ultimately, in the big geopolitical picture, it doesn't matter very much. Even if Cuba does get overthrown, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't help the U.S. and the deep state or the U.S. hegemony. There's no oil in Cuba, and there's nothing of strategic value there, really. He needs to get off Twitter. I've never seen a president yap so much. Yeah, but I will counter that that's how he got elected. He is the Twitter president. It's his brand. And he's just doing what he knows. And he worked to get him this far. And to be fair, it's not his propensity to tweet that's the problem in this case. It's his decision-making on very important strategic matters.
Void Voyager X.
Hi, Void Voyager X. We're raging at the situation in Iran. This beautiful idiot here is the president of Iran. And you know what he did yesterday? He basically said, we're sorry for attacking neighboring countries. Yeah. And we won't attack again. And of course, Trump saw this as weakness. Yeah. And now they started bombing desalination plants and oil infrastructure in Iran. And that's going to be horrible for the Iranian people. And I mean, that also, the pretense that this is for the Iranian people, that Trump is doing all this, that's out the window right now. As soon as you start attacking desalination plants and oil infrastructure, yeah, you're not the savior of Iranian people anymore, Trump. You're just another U.S. president that's getting captured by the military-industrial complex and Israel. Iranian people are going to revolt, probably. Possible, but when you bomb a country, it makes the people come together. I mean, there are plenty of stories of this, the people that were unhappy with the regime, but then Trump comes in and bombs, kills all these leaders, even the moderates. Some of the people he killed, those leaders, you have Trump, like, he was asked by reporters, who do you have to replace the current regime? He says, well, the people we had in mind, they're dead. Yeah, the moderates, the reformists, the ones that the protesters would have supported are dead in terms of leader. Because, yeah, so that's not good. I don't think they'll revolt. Iran has nothing against Middle Eastern countries. They'd revolt if they blatantly surrendered to the U.S. and Israel. Oh yes, they'd revolt for that point. I mean, the first day when they bombed that school, I that's an accident, I'm sure, but it's still a terrible accident, killing 150 like 12-year-old girls. That's the way to unite a country against you. It is. It's like it's a mini September 11th. Yeah, and Khamenei was basically the Pope. I mean, not everyone believes in the Pope, even here in the West, for example, but a large part of them do. And even those who don't, I mean, even like people in Italy that aren't religious, don't believe in Pope, whatever, they'd still be mad if you bomb the Pope. He's a famous figure. He represents Iran. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people are just annoyed about that. So, yeah, I don't think if there was going to be a Venezuela moment, that the regime was going to collapse, it would have happened that first weekend. It would have happened when we killed all those leaders and there was confusion. That's when it would happen. The fact that it hasn't means I don't think it will. Yeah, at this point, Trump's in trouble. So,
loss of communication, further stating that is he talking about those, or is he talking about some of the other neighbors?
Basically, I don't think what the president said was real. I think Iran will retaliate over the weekend at all the Gulf states for what's happening. That's what I hope. Otherwise, the people there are fucked, because the United States will stop holding back and then just turn the country into a landfill, like they'll do to Gaza, to Iran, to everything important, if they don't have a reason to hold back. The only thing that's preventing that is like the thousands and thousands of Shahed drones that Iran can launch, because that United States can't stop. They talk about destroying launchers, but the Shahed drones just have a small portable launcher. That's not a problem for those. How do you pronounce his name? Pezeshkian.
That's what he said.
Masoud.
So he did not say in this which countries he's talking about. Now, there is some confusion. Is he talking?
I have to listen to someone say his name again.
About all of the region, maybe other Iran, interesting. Just
yeah, that's one challenge in covering Middle East is or any other really exotic countries is trying to pronounce the name. Same problem with some of those cities in Ukraine.
Before coming on the air here, I was actually on
Perfect
with
reference
Mario
recipe for
Nafal,
Forever World.
who, as you
Yes.
may know, is broadcast from the Middle East. And as we're on the air, he said that his alerts went off.
Did have several sections of
Yesterday,
Alexander Mercurius's long video highlighted. What was this one?
the Washington Post carried an article
Okay, that's something I want to listen afterwards, but the part I want to go into first is the one about the president of Iran.
of Pezeshkian's
There you go. That's how you say his name. Thank you, Alexander.
statement. Pezeshkian made all of these words over the course of an address he made to the Iranian people on state television. And he did so speaking to them as the president.
Helps to try to talk while holding water in your mouth. I'll press X to doubt on that. It's good practice maybe, but it's easier to speak without water in your mouth.
President of Iran and as one of the three members of the interim council, which, in theory at least, is currently leading Iran. And the thing to say about this address taken as a whole, at least as it has been reported in the Iranian media, is that it was mostly, in fact overwhelmingly, a message of defiance. A few hours
Yes, but he misspoke in one little section of it, and boy, did he misspeak.
before, President Trump had spoken about how the only terms he would accept from the Iranians would be unconditional surrender. He wants Iran's unconditional surrender. And Pezeshkian went out of his way over the course of this address to say that that's not going to happen. Iran, as he said, is never going to surrender. The overall
he did say
message
that.
was one very much of defiance
But-
of
You're the leader of a country making an address to the public at a critical time in the middle of the war. You can't make mistakes. You can't say we won't attack people anymore when that's your only deterrent that's saving your infrastructure.
Iran holding out, of it continuing.
Yeah, there's no reason.
Struggle.
Iran is the Strait of Hormuz. That closing that, it's going to put so much pain on the rest of the world, and Trump is going to scream because of that. I mean, he cost him the midterms and has him figure out how to open them again.
of it eventually punishing the aggressors.
Letting China cross is a good move, though. Yes, and in a small way, no. I say a small way, no, in that it's allowing oil to escape the Gulf. And every bit of oil that escapes the Gulf, that keeps a little bit of a lid on oil prices. If no ships were getting out of the Gulf, then oil prices would skyrocket even higher, which would put more pressure on the world. But yes, keeping China happy by letting a little oil out, it's worth it overall. Yes, because China is an ally. But you have to think of it. There's also a possibility that China's ship gets oil out, and then seeing how the oil price is now at 150, decides to sell it abroad. And that oil doesn't end up going to China. It's a very real possibility. No, China wouldn't attack if they didn't do that, because China has a huge oil reserve. And it's a strategic ally of Russia, which has a huge amount of oil. And they are much less dependent on oil. They only 40% of their energy comes from oil. And so they can last, from their reserves alone, they can last 6 months without oil imports. And with oil imports from Russia, they can last for over a year. They have no problem. It's Japan, Korea, Philippines that get like over 90% of their oil from the Gulf. Those are the places that are really fucked right now. They can sell to Southeast Asia. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be great for Russia.
The American and Israeli enemies. This is overwhelming.
Hearing jets above my head currently, by the way. Then there might be drones incoming, and those jets might be trying to shoot them down. Dubai, I believe.
The tone of Pezeshkian's message.
isn't it?
Now, over the
It's so nice to have an informant on the ground to what's going on in Dubai.
course of these words, Pezeshkian did say that Iran did not seek conflict with its Arab neighbors, that this was not
Yeah.
Iran's purpose, that these Arab neighbors were Iran's brethren, and that
The
Iran
part I
would not
want is that he talks about President. He said his name several times, but I still am having dyslexic. But Iranian presidents.
American bases across the Middle East, wherever they were, the West. This is his objective. This is what he promised the Iranian people he would try to do. And I've no doubt also that this is what, until very recently, he believes. He's also somebody who consistently takes a more conciliatory line.
Yes, you see, the Iranian president is a diplomat. He's trying to like mend. He was elected I might have skipped it. He was elected to try to mend relationships with other Gulf states. That's why he was elected president. Part of it, and to reform the government. So someone like that is not a hardliner. And in this case, you really shouldn't have been saying those things.
Iranian leaders do, or than his predecessor as president of Iran, Ebrahim Raisi, once did. Pezeshkian,
Pezeshkian. And if I'm going to curse him out, I should remember his name.
it is important to say
Pezeshkian.
this, is not, by Iranian standards, a very experienced political operator. He is,
Yeah, that became obvious today.
I believe, a heart surgeon, apparently a very good one. He's somebody
Which that's cool.
who has come out from outside the political system. His election win was seen at the time as something of an upset, and may, by the way, have been more related to his apparent endorsement of social changes within Iran itself, as opposed to foreign policy, just saying. But anyway,
Yeah.
it seems to me that he has never really known exactly how to shape his words.
He basically stuck his mouth in it. He fucked up.
To an ongoing crisis.
Oh, you're
like
from
the one-
Malaysia? Oola. I think how much oil does Malaysia get from the Gulf? It's not one of the highest, but I think it's still pretty high, right?
That Iran is facing now, and he does from time to time slip out words which
Not ideal, yeah.
might imply
I mean, it's really the United States and Israel to blame on it. Today, when you bomb and kill Supreme Leader and 40 leaders of Iran, of course they're going to close the Strait of Hormuz. Of course. But Malaysia's oil reserves pretty stacked. Oh, that's cool. It's I never know which countries have reserves and which don't. There's some countries that operate like don't have any reserves, and some of them are more prudent. And having oil reserves right now is goaded in this scenario. You can make it. It can keep prices down, and because it's already up at 90, and it'll go higher.
that the Iranian position is softening, whereas the indications on the contrary are that it is not. It is also important to remember that
Yeah, cool. Tall buildings are cool. Have you been up it? I've been up the Empire State Building, but that's small by today's standards of high buildings. I've been up very high mountains though, but buildings, yeah, I'd love to visit. Is it one of those buildings that has a sky bridge between the like two towers?
so far as one can judge, the Iranian official who is actually in charge of the conduct
It's also really appreciable how well prepared the UAE has been for this attack, even though they never expected it. It goes to show how responsible and well structured the government is. I will agree with that. I will also say that I think they had an idea it was coming. I mean, I knew it was. Alexander, is one of the ones who's been just warning it's been coming since right after the 12-day war. He's been warning, saying that this attack is coming. So they had time to prepare, but it's good that they did. They report to have around 6 to 8 months of food supply. Yes, if you're that's why I haven't being too worried about starvation in the Gulf is that, yes, you won't be getting fresh food, but I'm sure unless the leaders are complete idiots and they're making billions off oil, least you can do is have a 6 to 8 months food reserve. It's just minimum.
Of the war itself. The person, in other words, who gives orders to the military and to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is not Pezeshkian. It is Ali Larijani, who is Khamenei's national security advisor and who was apparently appointed by Khamenei after the January protests to take complete charge of Iran's armed forces and security services, which is the position he continues to occupy.
Well, he's done a pretty good job. Just in that Iran has definitely been surprising the United States and Israel with what it's been doing with its missiles and drones.
If Larijani had made a statement about Iran ceasing attacks on the Gulf states, it's a statement I would have taken extremely seriously, coming from Pezeshkian, especially in a...
Yeah, it wasn't to be taken seriously, but it was enough for the United States to start bombing oil refineries and desalination plants. Yes, it's always nice to have more people in chat. And it's a pity that it's a disaster like what's happening in Iran that's bringing people in. But I read this. Oh, okay, that doesn't appear to be there anymore. Let's try this again. Iranian Revolutionary Guard. We struck the Haifa refinery with K-bar missiles in retaliation for the targeting of the Tehran refinery. So I think that there's going to be a lot of reprisals as the United States starts targeting civilian infrastructure. Iran's going to respond, and it's going to be an interesting weekend. I don't think it's an accident. I also don't think it's an accident that Trump started doing this Friday after the markets have closed, because you can think oil prices are high now. If Iran and the Gulf and United States, if everyone starts lobbying attacks at oil infrastructure throughout the Gulf region, imagine what that's going to do for oil prices. For the first time since the beginning of the war, Israeli planes are now attacking national infrastructure in Iran. About 30 tankers containing oil in Tehran areas were hit. Yeah, that's what I mean. That is why Pezeshkian, that Iranian president is an idiot. He says this and... I'm annoyed. There is this conspiracy that Iran drone and missiles stolen from Soviet Union. I don't know. Iran has just been producing a ton of these things for years. They've known this is coming for like over 20, 30 years. Our biggest threat right now is Israel. Seriously, I just learned today about the Samson option. Yes, that I think is Samson option is that if Israel think it's going down, it reserves the right to use nuclear weapons against everyone around it. So basically, it'll nuke the entire Middle East if it thinks it's going down. I think isn't that the Samson option? Let's have a video on the Samson option. Yeah. So it's... Well, we can...
Cracks emerge in Iran.
Oh my God, this is going to trigger me so much listening to an Asmongold video on this topic. Because he doesn't know about the shortage of interceptors. He doesn't fully understand the implication of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. He thinks that Iran's on the verge of collapse and it'll happen every day, so he's not really worried about the war dragging on. So, oh my God. I'm very concerned about it. I will be completely honest here. I would be too. And I would say that I think that might be what they want to do, but I don't think even if it happened, the bombs would go towards Iran first. Let's put it that way. But yeah, even if you have bombs going off hundreds of miles away, with the way radioactive clouds work, it's not great. So let's watch.
Let's talk about Israel's secret nuclear weapons stockpile and its Samson option. While the US and Israel have spent years warning about Iran's alleged nuclear weapons ambitions, despite Iran having no proven nuclear weapons and remaining under international inspection, it's actually Israel.
And the only country that has such a law wants to prevent others from nuclear security. Exactly. It's... And no, I wasn't surprised by that. What I was surprised is hearing that they have supposedly 90 nuclear warheads. That's more than you need for deterrence. That's insane. That's enough to nuke the entire Gulf.
That possesses one of the most powerful and secretive nuclear arsenals on Earth, not Iran. And according to investigative reporting and whistleblower testimony...
But think about it. Israel has openly threatened Iran's leader. When Ali Khamenei died, if the leader isn't pro-West, they will assassinate him. Yes, and Trump has come out that he's saying that he wants to choose the next leader. Yes, that is the goal, put in a U.S. puppet and basically take over Iran's oil and gas industry, for U.S. companies to exploit that and to force the sale of gas in U.S. dollars rather than Chinese renminbi. And U.S. has 5K. Well, U.S. has 5K. That makes sense, maybe in the context of a Cold War between Russia and U.S. Because the United States is targeting Russia. A country that size, you need 5,000 nukes, and similar for the Russia targeting the U.S. But Israel isn't targeting any nuclear countries. I mean, just having at most, I think 10 would have been more than enough to serve as a deterrent. 90, that's more. That's just insane. Israel, Benjamin says Israel's aim to change the face of the Middle East. Yeah. Have a look at this. Yeah. We'll have a look at that.
Israel maintains a nuclear doctrine that's called the Samson option, and if ever triggered, could unleash destruction on a global scale. Israel has never officially admitted to having nuclear weapons, but international experts and former officials widely estimate its arsenal to be over 200 nuclear warheads.
Okay, I'll take that back. Source I heard yesterday was 90, but 200 is even more insane. I can't believe the United States allowed that many. Then again...
And in a...
Israel is supposed to be a projection of U.S. power in the Middle East, so maybe I can. It's way too many.
Rare private admission surface.
I don't like that wording, about reshaping the Middle East. The expansion plan goes all the way to Iraq. Yes, we can have a look at that afterwards. Greater Israel. Map. That is the Greater Israel. You've heard about Greater Israel before, right? But this is actually my first time actually looking up the map to see exactly what's in it. It's funny that Iran is the only country in the Middle East that isn't in Greater Israel. And Israel's beefing with Iran. But yeah, half of Iraq, maybe a third of Saudi Arabia, all of Jordan, good chunk of Egypt, and the most profitable part of Egypt, the Nile, the Verdant, this is all desert and completely useless out here. I mean, 90% of the population of Egypt is inside the Greater Israel. And most of Syria, they've already started taking out, they've already taken over a big chunk in southern Syria. And that is, apparently Netanyahu has a map of this in his office, Greater Israel.
First, from former U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell, he wrote in
Russia doesn't want Western Europe. It wants it didn't even want Ukraine. It wanted just it not to be a weapon used against it, and when there was Maidan, the color revolution, they outlawed Russian in Ukraine, despite like 2/3 of the people speaking Russian in Ukraine. And Ukraine, like the majority of people in Ukraine are ethnic Russians. Even Zelensky, you hear an accent, his primary language is Russian, not Ukrainian. Ukrainian is bad from all the sources I hear. Isn't that funny? And the head of Ukraine's army, his parents live in Russia and receive a pension from the Russian government. That's how connected those two countries are. But a lot of anti-Russian propaganda exists, like in the Middle East, and language barrier enables this attitude. Yes, the language barrier enables this attitude, but I will also counter that it protects Russia and Iran. The language barrier, in a lot of cases, protects those countries from Western propaganda. In a lot of cases, it's one reason so many people in Russia like support Putin is that they're getting the real facts and they're less vulnerable to U.S. and Western nonsense. My husband's family is Russian and Belarusians, so we get all news. Yes, it's a bonus for them both. Yes, I mean, being able to read the news in several languages definitely helps expand your perspective.
Leaked correspondence that Israel possesses 200 nukes, all targeted on Tehran. The heart of the program is the Dimona.
Do you think American propaganda exists? It does. I know because I've reported on it, and I could give you very specific examples in so many areas. Asmongold is walking propaganda. I will say that he's indirect propaganda. He is someone who has been propagandized and then repeats the propaganda. He is not someone, he is, I think, honest in what he says, but that he actually believes. He's not lying, in other words, but he has been propagandized. There's a lot of pro-American propaganda right now that is being fed. He believes what he believes, but yes, exactly. I mean, I know, just because when someone streams as much as Asmongold or say Hassan or anybody like that, the amount you can keep your it's hard to have a different views than you express in your stream, because you would slip up and it would become apparent. So yeah, when you see with Asmongold is what you get. He doesn't have different views than what he's expressing. He can be very wrong, but he's not, I don't think, dishonest or lying about what he believes or trying to mislead people intentionally. But yes, I've talked about Asmongold a lot, and he's definitely not the most informed on this whole Iran situation. His chatters can kind of feed into this, but there's probably a lot of adrenaline from streaming so many people. Yes, there is that, and though I imagine since he does it so regularly, it's a little bit less intense for him. But yeah, I don't think it's hard to, I don't try not to blame people that have been propagandized, because I used to be one of them myself a long time ago. You just take media at face value at first. You have no reason to doubt them. You don't understand how much they're lying. And so the only thing you can do is try to educate people.
Nuclear facility in the Negev desert, a heavily guarded complex built in the late 1950s with French assistance. Intelligence assessments
the French
concluded decades ago that Dimona was producing weapons-grade plutonium. Israel is also believed to deploy nuclear weapons through multiple...
I will say that I think right now, I'm fairly certain that Iran is now racing towards a nuke. That's what I would do. It's the supreme leader that issued a fatwa against it is dead. And you have Israel with all these nukes, and if Iran could get a nuke and do a test, whatever, that at least would make the risk of Israel nuking Iran a lot less.
Delivery systems, including long-range Jericho ballistic missiles, nuclear-capable aircraft, and
For the record, I don't think Iran has never attacked any country first unprovoked, and if they did get a nuke, I think it would just be like Pakistan. They wouldn't nuke anyone unless someone used a nuke on them first. That's just my opinion. I can understand that anyone who's being propagandized by the evil regime in Iran would think something different, but what concerns me more is that I think the risk of Israel nuclearing Iran, that is the biggest nuke risk at present in the Middle East, that as Iran keeps raining missiles down, that Israel will fed up and will drop a nuke on Tehran. I think we're probably a few weeks away from getting to that point, but that is the risk I see most immediately of nukes being used. And if in those few weeks Tehran managed to make a nuke, that might prevent that from happening. It's
Iranian launched cruise missiles, giving it second strike capabilities even after a
who is wrong morally with this war? Well, morally, well, I'd say the U.S. and Israel, because last year, after the 12-day war, Russia brokered a peace between the two, between Israel and Iran, and Israel promised not to attack. They both promised not to attack each other first. Less than a year later, Israel breaks that agreement. That type of stuff matters. And 2 times, right in the middle of negotiations, we've gone in and bombed them. And for those who don't know, you know how there are 40 leaders that died right in that initial attack? I dislike both. Yeah, I'm not necessarily I'm not a fan of the Iran regime. I am on the side of the people, whether in Iran or in Bahrain or actually even Israel. If the ordinary people, right? Ordinary people don't know all the horrible things the Israeli government's doing, etc. I don't want a nuke used anywhere. And getting back to who is morally wrong, that first attack, for those who don't know, U.S. made an offer at that last Friday, an offer to avoid the war, a proposal, a diplomatic proposal. And all those leaders had gathered to read this final proposal to avoid the war. And when they did that, we bombed them. That's how we got all those 40 leaders. We sent diplomatically an offer through our negotiators. And when they met to consider that final offer, we bombed the shit out of them. And people say it's our amazing intelligence. No, those 40 people were gathered in one location. And they were gathered there because we tricked them into it.
Devastating attack. Now, the most direct confirmation came.
Girlfriend is American. People are people. It's you can't hold people accountable for the actions of governments unless they're people inside the government.
In 1986, when Israeli nuclear technician Mordecai Vananu leaked photographs from inside Dimona to the Sunday Times, revealing what experts said was an advanced nuclear weapons production operation. Vananu later explained his decision to release those photographs simply by saying, "I am the spy who told the truth." His disclosures suggested thermonuclear capability far beyond what the public had been told. And soon after, he was abducted abroad by Israel's Mossad and imprisoned for 18 years in solitary confinement.
Solitary confinement is terrible. It makes you go insane. They're bastards. Complete utter bastards. Mossad, the people do that side of Israel, and the United States. We do the same thing. People that leaked to WikiLeaks, we put them in solitary confinements too. We wanted to do that we did that with Assange for a few months, or was it? I think actually over a year.
Former President Jimmy Carter.
It's essentially brainwashing. At this point, she believes we have more freedom here than in America, which is pretty much true. It's insane to think there's Americans out there who would still choose to believe they have a better life in America without having seen the world. As media has told them for 1,000 years, like Iran, look at videos. It was very modern before this war. It was very modern society in a lot of ways. There were women walking around with their head uncovered. I don't think you could do that everywhere, but There were nightclubs. It was a place. It was under sanctions, so there was that pressure. But yeah.
Likewise acknowledged publicly that Israel held 150.
We wonder why they don't want to negotiate. Yes.
One of the
yeah, we've been.
few open recognitions by a Western head
The
of
West
state.
has been utter bastards in negotiations lately, whether it's with Russia or Iran.
Investigative journalist Seymour Hersh, in his book titled The Samson Option, reported that by 1969, the United States and Israel reached a quiet understanding that Israel would not publicly declare or test nuclear weapons, and Washington would stop pressing inspections. In effect, Hersh argued that the world's most sensitive weapons program was allowed to exist under deliberate political silence and cover by the United States. And at the center of Hersh's report,
It's intentional blackouts for media. American people have not been milked dry for decades. I'm not anti-West, but it looks like, look at building codes, as an example. As a person who is homeless but has land should be allowed to build their home as they see fit. Absolutely, building codes aren't saying... yes. Even as I said that, I was thinking of... There are places where building codes make sense. Like if you have for cultural reasons. If you have a really rich place like Stad. No, I wanted a picture of the place. Like every chalet has to be made out of wood. That type of building code in ultra-rich areas, okay. Or touristy areas. But for everyday houses, it's still too much. It's unless you're in some place that has a lot of history and a specific style of architecture. Yeah, then in that case, I'm not for building codes. Hassan would agree. Yeah, on some topics, I'm closer to Hassan than I am Asmongold. It's on the international stage, yes, a lot of that. On domestic front, on the law of topics, closer to Asmongold. I'm not easily in one category and another. Same here. I take the baby and toss the bathwater. Yes. Yes. Okay. Oh, the Samson. Yeah, it would. It's best if no one had nuclear weapons in the Middle East. So another refinery targeted in Tehran. We could check this. No, it's Iran Long Butte. That's what I wanted. Qatar has intercepted some missiles. Bahrain, one person injured and damage to shops caused by missile fragments falling in public streets. Is that Pakistani taxi driver? No, because it's injured, not dead. So, it's an update there. Thank you, Proton Snail. It has all the latest open source. Like anytime there's something happening on either side, it'll give you pictures that aren't AI of what's happening. So that's nice. It's automatic filter against AI, and give you an idea of what's the latest thing going on. The idiot. 18 hours ago, he did this, and then after he said this, look at all the destruction. They will the military targets I don't care about. That's legitimate targets in a war, but the refineries that they started attacking, that's the real problem. Airports that they're attacking. UAE intercepts 15 ballistic missiles, 119 drones today. You see that they're not stopping, and that is depleting our interceptors. We have between probably next week in some places in the Middle East they're going to start running low on interceptor missiles. That'll be interesting. And the drones, those launchers don't matter for, and they have thousands and thousands and thousands of drones. Unfortunately, the website got blocked here. Really, not absolutely surprising, but it's probably blocked to make it harder for people to report stuff too. Yeah, it is useful. That's why VPNs are useful wherever you are in the world, if you can get one. Are VPNs outlawed there too in Dubai? I'm sure there's some way to do VPN. In every country, even China, and most strict, it's blocked, prevent the risk of misinformation. When a country says that, it's usually to prevent information that the government doesn't want out. It's the truth is often labeled as misinformation by countries. Like anything that makes the United States look badly in this war is misinformation, whether it's true or not. The United States Trading Operations has issued a warning regarding possible incident. Oh, another thing is Iran has started using naval drones to hit ships and stuff, and that is really no good defense against. So, yeah, there's I don't see how they can possibly open the Straits of Hormuz by force. Goodbye. We could use a VPN, but carries a risk of getting fined. Oh, yeah. I'm not an expert of how to hack and do stuff in Dubai. I just know that myself, if I live Dubai or any place like China, I'd have a VPN. I don't like being restricted in what I can open and see. What the government said, and I've never doubted the UAE government, they've always been transparent. They may not want... yeah, the UAE government may be transparent, but that doesn't matter because UAE government is subject to US and Israeli pressure. And if the US and Israel says, you will make this the narrative, you will say this, you will not admit that a US Navy ship has been attacked, you will label that disinformation domestically and say, yeah, if they get orders like that, you can only trust them to be transparent on stuff that they aren't subject to foreign pressure on. Rains on Western Iran, police raids, okay. Israeli said it has struck university, an institute linked to the Republican Guard. Yeah, honestly, you said they're transparent. The only reason for them to shut down like this site is because they've been pressured to not be transparent. Destroyed all Iranian regime's communications channels. Yeah, sure about that. 42 Iranian naval vessels in 3 days. I didn't know that Iranian had 42 vessels. Oh, if you're taking civilian too, yes, he might be bombing fisher boats. You never know. That attacking that boat, that naval boat that had gone to India that was not armed. What was so bad about that is we torpedoed an Iranian ship that had no weapons on it and gone to this military exercise, and then we bragged about it. Why do you brag about killing a ship that was unarmed? It's like bragging about bashing in the baby's head. It's not impressive at all. Who's winning? I'd say Iran, honestly. Just because that Trump is panicking. He's panicking. I can show you right now why. Oil prices in the last week. Oh, no, that's today. Or this is oil prices in the last week. From basically 70 to 90. This is real inflation everywhere in the world. This is U.S. losing the midterms. Let me put it this way. There's a very decent chance that Republicans lose Congress, the House and Senate, and that Trump gets impeached for this war, and that impeachment actually sticks. Because starting a major war without Congress, that is an impeachable offense, unfortunately. So, and Trump has no way of winning like causing regime change, because we have no troops on the ground. We can't send U.S. in. We're trying to do Kurds, but that isn't working. How do we do anything? I would be surprised if he doesn't get impeached. I would say, unless there's somehow a miraculous solution to this Iranian thing that I cannot foresee, he's in trouble. And I'm pissed off about that. I'm pissed off that Trump started this idiotic war, and that's going to cost Republicans control of the House and Senate. Because on domestic issues, I'm happy with what they're doing, and I do not want open border again. And so, but hopefully, Democrats have realized that the border is a losing issue, and they accept closed border now, at least on that issue. Hopefully, we'll see. Luckily, Malaysia's oil price didn't move a single inch. Oh, that's good. But it's when this is going to go up to 150 or more. So we'll have to save it stays that way. They're going to hold the world hostage financially, yes. And you don't know what type of chaos this could be causing in derivative markets and financial markets, this oil swinging this high. Check out the image I sent on Discord. Okay. Okay. Let me save this and open it. So what are we looking at? Are these oil let's see, what was this supposed to be? Saudi Arabia. So what are we looking at here? There's no table of contents telling, are these oil fields, I imagine? Yeah, it's oil fields. Yeah, all of Iran's oil is here. So this is part of Iran that Trump really wants to conquer. And this area right here. But you have no troops on the ground. But speaking of that, we'll have to see how what happens. But this video that I heard.
A prominent anti-war activist and filmmaker says a growing number of U.S. troops and their families are reaching out for help to avoid fighting in the ongoing U.S.-Israeli war against Iran.
Apparently, you'll see the video, some American troops may be heading into combat.
Mike Preisner, executive director of the Center on Conscience and War, says his organization has been flooded with calls from American service members seeking ways to avoid participation in the conflict. Posting on...
That's not great. It's not great for the state of our military.
Social media,
But
Preisner wrote that the phone at his organization has been ringing off the hook, with many soldiers and their next of kin asking about options.
Trump has no concern for the lives of his own country's citizens, and that scares me. Yeah, that's what I don't know. In the past, he has, I think there are times that he really has expressed concern. I think it's more that he's deluded. That I think he's more that he's I said it yesterday. I think his administration is full of Asmongold viewers. They're convinced that Iran is on the verge of collapse. They're not really, they're worried, yes, it's going badly, Strait of Hormuz is closed. But, I mean, Iran's just going to collapse in a few days, and then it'll all be over and everything's be good, and Trump will be supreme. Vance has retweeted Asmongold. I know there are people in the administration, there's been all these signs that they are Asmongold viewers. And so Asmongold has been propagandized, and I think a lot of people in the administration has been propagandized. It's not that they don't value U.S. lives, it's that they started this war, they didn't think any American lives would be at risk. They thought that, you might have heard about the leaked plan that we bomb Friday and then the government collapses Saturday and a new pro-U.S. government comes in Sunday, and then by Monday it's all set and it's all solved. That's what I think they expected, because of the Asmongold viewers and Trump, and they haven't. So it's not that he doesn't care about U.S. lives. It's just I think now he's getting desperate, because now his oil prices go up and reality is beginning to confront the administration. I think they're panicking. But to say they don't care, maybe. Some of them probably don't.
To dodge involvement in the offensive. Preisner shared details.
Every time
of
I
one
hear him lately, he
conversation
sounds
says he had
very grave, tired. You mean Trump? Yes. I could totally imagine that. Imagine if you're a Trump. He's ahead of Asmongold. He knows about the interceptor missiles now. He knows. He's probably been briefed. Better if it happened before, but what the implications of the Strait of Hormuz closing are. And you saw him float the other day the idea of U.S. naval escorts. Well, I'm sure we haven't heard more about that, have we? I'm sure someone has sat down with him and explained, you're going to have dozens of sunk U.S. ships if you try to do that. Hundreds of dead Americans, and it won't work. And so he knows that he can't open the Strait of Hormuz. And he, I think, in this last week has begun to grips with a reality. And I think that's the other half of the escalation we've seen today in terms of bombing desalination plants in Iran, is that Trump is getting desperate. And you're thinking, I think he still somewhere holds out hope that you keep on bombing and the Iranian people will rise up and overthrow the regime that he doesn't like and install someone he like. No. Give it another week. Another few days at this point.
with the mother of a service member deployed in the region. According to him, the soldier was given what was described as a final phone call home before being ordered to turn in his phone. During that call, the soldier told his mother that his unit was preparing for a boots-on-the-ground deployment later that night.
So I'm really willing to bet this, that there are soldiers preparing for boots-on-the-ground deployments. Whether it's a commando raid or something else, but we don't have enough countries to take Iran. And so, also, in terms of where the destruction is on this map, I think we've been hitting oil refineries up towards Tehran. The big oil infrastructure, as we saw in the picture right here. This is Iran's oil fields. And if we check here, let's see this. A port city. But we don't know if if it was oil infrastructure, it would probably say that much. It's probably something military there. So Iran's oil infrastructure remains untouched, mostly. So that's good. And this must be the desalination plant, or no, the naval base. I wonder where the desalination plant was. Oh, maybe it's a desalination plant up here. I don't know. I don't want to go through and look at everything. Anyway, it's a mess. But let's watch. Oh yeah, Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu says Israel will change the face of the Middle East. He's a nasty person. Oh, and since we have some new people in here, I just thought I'd mention it because it amazes me that so few people know this. Israeli support Hamas. Because one reason Asmongold and other people are for the Iran war is that they think Iran was behind October 7th. But the truth is that for years, Netanyahu propped up Hamas. Now it's blown up in our faces. And this isn't like Israel was the one financing Hamas. Mossad, head, Qatar, Hamas, big. Yeah. Netanyahu sent Mossad head general to Qatar, begged it to pay Hamas. So, yeah, the proxies, Iranian proxies are Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Iraqi militias, and the Houthis in Yemen. Those are the Iranian proxies. If you want to blame the action of those groups on Iran, I can't object. But Hamas was Netanyahu's little pet monster. And that the crazy rabid terrorist organization that attacked did what rabid terrorist organizations do and did October 7th. I support the Palestinian people, but Hamas, yeah, they maybe not every member of Hamas, but there are some that are definitely also monsters. This hypocrisy baffles me. Well, it's with the strength of the U.S. propaganda arm. I mean, Netanyahu finances Hamas, and then he blames Hamas's actions on Iran. That's the way it works. You'd be amazed at the things that how far the U.S. media can stretch and twist the truth in so many ways. It's amazing. Oh, yeah.
I think you've got to go back and understand two things. This business about the nuclear weapon is nonsense.
Yeah, I think this will cover more in detail what's going to go on with the Hormuz Strait, and that's what I'm interested in.
As I said before, they don't have it. No one has ever said they did, except poor Mr. Netanyahu and his friends.
It's good to know there's a crowd like us who don't fall into the trap of propaganda. Yes, and it's a growing crowd. Just like 2 months ago, Pizzagate was one of the topics we knew about, and other people didn't. And now Asmongold covered it. And yeah, so yes, Asmongold is propagandized on Iran, but he's also, like his coverage of Pizzagate, he's also a force for good. So it's just a matter of having him find out the truth, which will happen. It will happen. Because once this drags on another week or two, the interceptor shortage will reach his ears. The implication of Strait of Hormuz, he will be educated. He'll get some videos on how things really work. It'll be just like him learning about Pizzagate.
And I think that's just thrown out as kind of a red herring to attract attention. Oh, we got to stop them from having a nuclear weapon. Everybody says that's free.
Obviously, it's things. Let's jump ahead.
In other words, you've got to distance yourself from all the other Shiites that live in the Muslim Arab world.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That was going to be painful. Yes, we could do that. Let's do that. Let's brace ourselves and do that. Yes, this is it. It's fucking over.
Iran's leadership as it reels under bombardment. So wait a minute. So that statement that they made was actually true. So basically, let me see if I can read this. Iran's hierarchy is showing signs of fracturing over a war its leaders see as existential, with angry divisions between hardliners and more pragmatic factions laid bare. There we go. That's better. Laid bare over over President Masoud Pezeshkian's promise to not strike Gulf states.
Again, I'm not an Iranian hardliner, but President Pezeshkian, it's not an accident that right after he made that idiotic press conference that desalination plants and oil infrastructure was bombed. He is to blame. He took away Iran's deterrence. He weakened Iran. He's an idiot.
It's fissures within Iran's ruling elite were suppressed.
No problem. Thanks for stopping by. And it is, I can understand, Asmongold on this topic can be trying
under the iron rule of the supreme leader, but his killing a week ago has allowed them to spill out into the open. If this is what's happening publicly, privately, they are crashing out.
You hear that? That's yeah. Iran is on the verge of collapse. Really, no. I think that most of Iran's moderates, I think, were at that meeting with the supreme leader to consider that proposal that we made and tricked them into it. So I think we killed off most of the moderates. And he's one of the one surviving moderate, and he just made that idiotic press conference. And yeah, but it's good to hear that there are hardliners that aren't that stupid and realize that if they don't strike back, don't reestablish deterrence, yeah, things like desalination plants will continue to get bombed.
They are massively crashing out. Can you only imagine? That's why you cut off the head. Exactly. Anyway, let's look at this here. And which allowed them to split into the open and then strike.
Oh, and that what I had before that I saved. This
too big of a.
This is how Asmongold used to be.
I think that we play too big of a role in other countries' military shit. Like, we're too interventionary. We get too involved into other people's business. It's a waste of our money. The people there probably fucking hate us. Where's really the upside here, right? Just stay out of it. Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm not saying like we should be totally isolationist, but I think that the level that we try to play nation building, especially in places like this, like, you know, like Libya, for example, back in the day, what the fuck? Or Iraq. No, absolutely not. Yeah, it's too much, man. Way too much. I
would say what happened between here. I'll tell you what happened. One, Maduro and Venezuela. It gave like a high. We just made America seem so special. We just went in and just got this guy in Venezuela. Seemed so base, so badass of Trump, and that. So that's one half of it. The other half of it is he was completely hooked by the propaganda against Iran about the protests. He honestly believes that the majority of Iranians are these oppressed people that need us to go in and liberate them. He doesn't realize that those protests were the result of an economic attack by the U.S. President Bennett. Iran protests. Credit currency. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, those protests. Remember those protests? Well, Secretary President Bennett admitted that we caused them. We shorted the currency and caused those protests. Anyway, this is what Asmongold now is.
I am so happy this has happened. I am just dramatically, tremendously happy this has happened. I know that
this is about the strikes in Iran. And that's what I mean about this being Asmongold's war, the video I made yesterday. It's just, I think that the administration is filled with Asmongold watchers, and he represents that group of people that's completely uninformed. He does not understand what the closure of the Strait of Hormuz for like 6 months will do to the world. He has no fucking clue on that. He also doesn't believe it will happen because Iran's on the verge of an uprising that everything's going to be resolved in like a week or two because the regime's so weak. So not only does he still think it's going to be over really soon, but he doesn't understand the consequences if it doesn't.
You know, obviously I've talked about it for a long time, about how big of a problem.
The regime being horrible doesn't mean we got to get into war for the right reason. It's also possible that they are awful to their people as a rule on top of our actual reasons for the war. Yes, them being horrible to their people doesn't mean we should start a war. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, he does know the impacts. Yeah, he's going to be sorted out. That's why, I mean, he's going to get a reality check on this. I mean, he doesn't know about the interceptor shortage. So I think that he is a realist enough that if he knew about that alone, he would not have been so optimistic about this war. If he knew our vulnerability there. Yeah.
Problem Iran is and everything. I was a big supporter of us bombing them before, and now we're bombing them again. And this is just amazing. I think that we play too.
Yeah, he has been propagandized. Well, let's get back to
pile pressure on Tehran. The unrelenting bombardment mortally imperils the Islamic Republic, has prompted its fiercest acolytes, the Revolutionary Guards, to seize a bigger role in strategy. It's always good.
When in many cases, the people of the Gulf tend to be more civilized. Yes, there's very civilized. Like, if you just, so many, like, I think Iran had some of the most engineers in the world, some of the best engineering schools and whatnot in the world. And women too, actually getting engineering degrees. It's not, there's a reason they figured out how to make all these really advanced missiles and drones.
To have the religious nut jobs making strategy decisions, especially when the
a lot of the decay in the United States, it has to do with our currency being the reserve currency, the hegemony, is that we don't produce that much. We just borrow and buy. And do you realize that at one point, 2/3 of the world's manufactured goods used to come from the United States? That's more than China does now. We used to be even more than China. That's how much of an economic powerhouse the United States used to be. That was all our weapon systems and everything. It dates back really from that time, like aircraft carriers. We haven't built new aircraft carriers or new like weapon systems in decades. Even the Patriot system is like 30 years old. We're resting on our laurels, but there's some pretty impressive laurels because we were an absolute powerhouse like 60 years ago.
Religious nut jobs want to martyr themselves. That has killed many top commanders. Sources close to Iran's leadership, speaking from inside the country, told Reuters the strains were starting to show among leading figures still alive.
We didn't pull the Burj Khalifa out of our ass, Lafalo. It's an engineered marvel. Yep. Gross decay versus Middle East with the wealth being generated. Yeah, the Middle East being smart in trying to do data centers and trying to diversify its economy from just oil, because that's not eternal.
After a series of killings of the U.S.-Israeli strikes, they spoke anonymously due to the sensitivity of the matter. This might be why they're not killing the other people, because they think that just basically having this dissent will cause them to tear each other apart. And
well, it's also probably because at this point, people are actually hiding. And you understand, those 40 leaders we got at the beginning, they are all gathered at the Supreme Leader's compound to consider this peace problem. They weren't hidden. They weren't. We didn't have to have intelligence to find them. They were just at a very obvious location. I think the survivors now are actually maybe taking some steps to not be bombed.
What is this? Hardliners return on Margaret's divisions inevitable? It is. And that's what it's going to be. Why Iranians as Muslim extremists only have issue with USA and not Russia and China and India, countries that are not Muslim? Well, that's not really what's happening right now. It's totally different. And let's see.
Well, yes, the United States attacked Iran. That's why they have issue with us.
Your Revolutionary Guard Corps angry at Pezeshkian's statement. So they actually are mad at him.
Good, because I was absolutely furious at him, and not even as an Iranian, because I knew this was going to hurt civilians. It was throwing Iranian civilians to the wolves. Like that desalination plant that was bombed. How many people are going to be just in terrible straits in Iran because of that? And whose fault is it? It's that Pezeshkian statement.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's titled my stream. I'm going to have to rage against this idiot for a good while still.
One of the most open criticisms of Pezeshkian, a sign of internal division, hardline cleric and lawmaker Hamid Rashai addressed the president on social.
Your stance was unprofessional, weak, and unacceptable. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. As we go saying it's division, no, there's this one idiot that opened his mouth and hurt Iran.
Media saying your stance was unprofessional, weak, and unacceptable. Oh my God! So they actually do have the fucking
90% of the water in UAE is desalination. Imagine how bad it would be for that to be affected here. I know. That's why. Actually, that's why I want Iran to really put an end to this. To respond to this desalination strike. I don't want them to destroy desalination plants, but my thing is one drone in a desalination plant in each Gulf state would be my response. Not enough to destroy them, but enough to damage them, and to put everyone on notice that if we start some, it's because the alternative is that they do nothing. They follow this Pezeshkian's passiveness, and then a lot more desalination plants get bombed in Iran, and then later on there might be a huge reprisal against the Gulf, and it better that doesn't happen. Like, I worry that ultimately every desalination plant destroyed in Iran is probably going to result in one destroyed in the Gulf in other states. And yeah, I think so. It's better to establish deterrence now to prevent the United States from bombing more.
The zealots running it now. I guess that's what it is. Holy shit.
And on that note, Sound by Soma, I would keep a jug or two of water if you can. Just have some water that's not, in case they do start hitting that. Just be a little bit prepared. I really would.
The president later repeated his earlier statement on social media. He left out the apology that had so angered the guards and other hardliners, an embarrassing retreat. So he originally apologized, but now he took it out. So yeah, it's only a matter of time until this is over. I mean, I feel like really if that's happening this early.
As long as desalination plants are open, just having a corner of your room or someplace, a couple of jugs full, just so you're don't need to have months worth, but there's a chance that they might be damaged and not shut down for a few days and not permanently. And so you should at least have enough to weather that.
Like it's fucking done, man. And you're wrong in regards to the Meg situation, international law. International law isn't real. I don't reckon.
Well, it's true. You can desalinate the water yourself with a pot and boil it, but that's very complicated.
Recognize that as anything that's legitimate or should be listened to or adhered to in the case of working in the best interest of your country. If international law makes it to where your country is less safe, then you shouldn't follow your country. You shouldn't follow the...
Okay, and another reason I say this is Asmongold War is his attitude towards international law, for example. He's like, if international law isn't... if it's in our way, just go around it. That's his attitude. And that's the attitude of the Trump administration in so many things. That's why I think, yeah, it's the Asmongold crowd that doesn't value international rules, and he's completely propagandized about Iran, and that's how we got into this. A jar inside a pot of salt water with an inverted lid on top, with ice on top of the lid. Yep. But you need ice, you need water. Very energy intensive. Well, hopefully energy won't be a problem, but...
International law? It's pretty obvious. There is no international law. There's just simply power and the ability and willingness to exercise it.
Yeah, this attitude is the reason for the strike. Yeah.
International law happens as a result of that. So anyway, again, like we've talked about this plenty of times, but I'm not going to get into it again. It's very annoying. In Iran's unusual system, an elected president, government, and parliament are subservient to a clerically appointed Ayatollah who wields ultimate authority as supreme leader and personally oversees the Revolutionary Guard and powerful bodies of state. So it looks like basically all of the information about how the Revolutionary Guard is having like dissent and everything, it seems to be true. Oh my God. I didn't expect that.
I didn't see any signs of that. I see one idiotic president making an idiotic statement. To infer dissent among the National Guard is a little extreme.
Oh, this is about the bombing of the school. Okay, let's listen to it. This is relevant. We just got done talking about that.
Did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran?
Yes.
Did the United States...
Yes, like the United States is going to admit to that.
Bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
Based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Iran did it?
Is that true, Mr. Hegseth? It was Iran who did that?
If you look at the actual clip on it, you can see in Hegseth's voice that, yeah, no, we did it.
But the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
We think it was done. We think it was done by Iran.
Yep.
It was not done by Iran. I don't believe that. I believe it was 100% a mistake by either Israel or the United States.
Accurate, as you know, with their munitions. They have no accuracy whatsoever. It was done
It'd be
by
crazy to believe that much BS. Yes, no, it's not Iranian false flag to kill 170. No.
Well, there it is. And the U.S. did it. Oh, I don't know. And pull me up. I have the funniest link. I'm not going to. I'm going to permaban you because you've typed it multiple times. Like, let me actually, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll pull you up.
Be careful if you're in Aspergill's chat because, yes, you want to try to educate him, but don't get yourself banned.
This for a while. Why do you think that you can spam?
This guy isn't someone trying to educate Trump. Asmongold, he's just someone who has a funny link and is a spammer.
Like, you've been following for a year or a little bit less than a year. Why do you think that you can spam the same message in chat?
Yeah.
When spamming is
I'm a little afraid of getting pulled up, even though I am genuine. Well, I've considered it. I'd love to get pulled up by Asmongold. I think I'd be able to rock his world. But I think it'd take a lot of energy, and I'd have to do it in a way that doesn't get me banned. Like, I can't spam to get it. And so it'd just take a lot of energy. I'd have to be watching several streams and just put comments that might get his attention several times, and eventually maybe he might become... I think I'm more likely to try with a smaller streamer like Nuxtaku. But... yeah, my ultimate goal is to have a serious conversation with a bigger streamer. Not necessarily as big as Asmongold, but it doesn't matter who. And I think I could... there's so many topics that on the Pizzagate wavelength that I'd like to bring up. Like, it's like... I reported on the financial crisis in the United States, for one, and I have a lot of reporting from back then that I'd like to set the record straight on. But there's also stuff like World Trade Center 7. Most people, like, if I could ask Asmongold one question, it'd be, how many skyscrapers collapsed on 9/11? Chat, how many skyscrapers collapsed on 9/11? Let's see how educated people are. I'm talking not conspiracy, not just facts. How many skyscrapers collapsed on 9/11? I swear it's at least 1 in 3 that think 9/11 was an inside job. Well, yeah, that's more common. But that's the funny thing. That's the amazing thing. Even that 1 in 3. If I ask that question, how many skyscrapers collapsed on 9/11? I bet you there are over 99% people say 2. 99% of people say 2. Even the people that believe that 9/11 was an inside job, that's how extreme the propaganda about this has been. They don't know that there were 3 buildings that collapsed on 9/11. And it's amazing. One of the most important events in American history. And 99% of people don't even know the basic facts about that day.
Yeah, but like, why? Why did you think that it was okay to spam?
Yeah.
I'm just confused because, like, I mean...
I find it crazy that how he doesn't see that in a moment of war, you can't trust any officials say unless you have evidence. What Hegseth is saying is hearsay. Yes, but you see, he is propagandized. He is still on that Iran's going to just collapse, and it's confirming his biases for now. And he believes in the absolute supremacy of U.S. military, that U.S. Like, look how we got Maduro. And I think, I didn't watch it, but he watched a video of how we went in with these special weapons to get Maduro. He thinks U.S. military is this incredible thing that can do no wrong. Meanwhile, we've lost like 4 out of 8 THAAD systems, our most powerful radar system. We've lost 4 of 8 in the last week, I think. He doesn't know that.
We know what the rule is. Why would you do this? I just want to
He's
understand.
also used to being right about other things and people disagreeing with him because of who he is and his politics. And I will say, okay, another in defense of Asmongold, you have to remember a lot of people arguing like against Iran are blue-haired, nose-ringed lefties that don't know a thing about international relationships either, that are just as clueless as Asmongold, that are just supporting it because of politics. And there is that group. That group exists, and I hate it when people associate me with it, but that is a group.
Understand what your thinking is, because like I can't get inside the mind of a person that would think like this.
I suck.
Don't ban them? Oh, I don't know about that. Oh.
Honestly, if in terms of not getting banned at this point, I think this is probably the best comment he could make. That would get Chad on his side is I suck.
Uh-oh. Looks like nobody's saying anything. Uh-oh. He's trying to get your attention. Well, looks like there's not a single. Isn't it weird how these people can't even explain why they do this? It's because they're just, you're being annoying and attention-seeking. Get out of here. You're also so obnoxious.
It also takes some time. Yeah, he should have responded more than that. But I suck was a good beginning. I will say that much.
And about the link is good, we don't ban them. No, because if I did that, then
yes, everyone would start spamming in chat. Ban me if my link is yes.
Everybody would spam their links constantly. Like there's no logic to this at all.
Yeah,
absolutely not. And is this a new one? Oh, we saw this one before too. Oh, this is. Oh my God, this one is new.
Yeah, but I'm gonna wonder what he's gonna think of us bombing oil infrastructure and desalination plants. Yeah, that's an oil refinery. Yeah, it's if it's military base, he'd be like, oh yeah, good. But this is fucking over the people of Iran. This is just fucking over the people of Iran.
نابود کرد.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that is massive. Oh my God. So somebody says you want us to respect a rule while you say international doesn't exist. International law doesn't exist. It's also rules. Rules need power to protect them, and once a country doesn't respect rules, it'll become not respectable. Okay. So we have somebody. You have a fundamental misunderstanding in the way that power is derived. So power is derived from the ability to exercise it.
Yes, and I agree with this on a lot of levels. And I say this right now, one reason I oppose this strike on Iran is it's going to expose the limit of American power, and it's going to drastically lower the prestige of the U.S. military, and we're going to seem like a paper tiger after this is over. That we got defeated by Iran. Like Iran is going to win that. That is going to be the view of the world after this is over. So, yeah, I don't think Iran defeating the U.S. is good for the U.S.
So what I mean by that is that basically I fully expect a country like Somalia to follow international law. And if they don't, they should be punished severely.
Yes, it's not... Yeah, I on one hand, I really understand the satisfaction of getting U.S. off its high horse. Yes, I totally understand that thing. But it'll be good on another level just to have realism. Like people like Asmongold will understand the limits of what America can do. And look at that horrible face. I froze that. If he understood those limits, he would have supported the strike on Iran. He wouldn't have supported a strike on and starting a war that America can't win. He wouldn't have supported that. So having a huge part of America wake up to the state of the U.S. military will mean will be less likely to be dragged into stupid wars in the future.
Severely. I fully expect a country like Afghanistan to follow international law. And if they don't, they should be punished severely. But I don't fully expect China to follow international law. And I don't fully expect Russia or America to. Because we're the bigger countries and we get to decide what the rules are. Do you understand that? Here's the problem. In this circumstance, you're Somalia. Sorry,
did he ban them or did he just delete the comment? I'm just curious.
Circumstance, you're Somalia. Sorry.
Really? Well, it's his right, but I think that's nearly on the wavelength of me being deleted from Hassan's chat for saying, it's normal for a country to put its own citizens first. That much is common sense. It's not an extreme a take that international law is worthwhile. And just deleting comment because they disagree with you, I don't think that one was great. I don't like that band.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a place you don't want to be.
I can see where this guy enrages you.
Huge.
Yes. Well, on some topics we're on the same page, actually, and he is very entertaining as a streamer. That's why he has so many viewers. But on this, yes, Iran, yes, he is, because he's so uninformed. And to be fair, he enrages me because he represents the average American, in that the average American believes all the things Asmongold believes, like the vast majority, that the U.S. is still a superpower, that our military is exceptional, that we're going to win this war against Iran right away, that Iran's on the verge of collapse. All that, I think, is still right now what the common average American believes. And that's going to change in next week. But, so, yeah, I don't hate him. I hate what he represents. I mean, I used to be propagandized. I can't throw stones at, I'm at different, I got
mistake.
I learned.
God,
yeah,
damn,
I can't wait
bro.
for it
Like
either.
this, I wonder.
And one thing I respect about it, he went into Pizzagate. He admitted himself he didn't believe in Pizzagate before, but whenever the evidence came out and he looked at it, and now he believes in Pizzagate. So when the evidence is presented to him, his views do change, and evidence is going to be presented to him soon on the state of how the war is going, because it's not going to end like he expects.
That's all the oil refinery. I wish this was AI generated, like those videos with the regime I wish this was AI generated, like those videos regime supporters post to Tel Aviv, but it's not. And there it is. Vassar surrendered to hand over the country to its opposition leader. Well, they're going to have to eventually, right?
The opposition leader? Are they talking about the U.S. puppet? Oh, yeah.
So surrender.
The guy that has less than 1% support in Iran?
To hand over the country to its opposition leader?
The Shah's regime was a brutal police state. I think the reason they were protested, overthrew him, is because of police, 30,000 were disappeared and tortured. That's what led to the uprising. The people of Iran don't want the Shah or his descendants back.
Well, they're going to have to eventually, right? Protests are up.
I just hope he can find the evidence and not glaze past it in TLDR fashion. It has to be digestible and not a terrible. I don't know. Yes, but that's why, I mean, it's going to hit him because, he expects the war to be over. He expects the Iranian people to rise up. And the longer that doesn't happen, it's going to... When oil prices go above 100, he's going to notice that. There's no way for him not to notice that. When prices of gas starts going up in the United States, there's no way for him not to notice that, or his viewers not to notice that. When gas prices go up $2 and people in his chat why are they going up $2? When does this end? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Why isn't it ending? He doesn't trust the mainstream anymore at that point because they're not telling him when it's going to end. And then he stumbles on one of the videos we watch about what's really going on. And he finds out it's not going to end anytime soon. And the United States is really pretty much fucked in this situation. Yep. His views are going to change.
Up in Havana. Yeah, there's another one too. Oh no, is this
Fell for it again award? Well, honestly, one thing I will say for Asmongold is that he always says you don't hate the mainstream media enough. These are empty words sometimes coming from him because, yeah, you don't hate the mainstream media enough, Asmongold. You don't. You trust them. You trust all their bullshit on Iran.
Is preparing one of its 2 aircraft carriers for possible deployment, with the crew ordered to be ready to sail in just 5 days. That move could put the Royal Navy in position in the Mediterranean as Britain looks to protect its forces and interests.
Bro.
Stephanie Bennett is in London with more on that.
1 or 2? Yeah.
Hey, John, yes, things intensify in the Middle
What
East.
a fucking sin.
Another aircraft carrier won't make any difference.
Bro, it's embarrassing.
Preparing for potential deployments, and you've also got American B-1 bombers landing at RAF bases here in the UK today and also yesterday. The HMS.
We'll have to see what happens when they try to do gravity bombs over Iran, because right now they've been doing missile attacks. Everything that's being destroyed in Iran, that means it's planes shooting from hundreds of miles away and missiles going down to the target. Whereas gravity bombs, the plane needs to fly over the location. And you can only use gravity bombs. And these bombers also a lot more vulnerable to anti-aircraft fire. So if there's any anti-aircraft capabilities left in Iran, we're going to see some of these bombers go down.
Prince of Wales is currently in Portsmouth, with UK news outlets suggesting it could sail to the Mediterranean or the Middle East. The crew reportedly has been told, quote, they must be ready to leave in 5 days. Meanwhile,
I'm happy that Shuonhead is reasonable on the topic, seems aware. I'm excited to see her video when she speaks out about it. Yes. Has she done her video on the Epstein yet? That for your cover.
We found.
Okay, well, I'll have a look at that afterwards. I'm happy it should have. Has she done her one about Epstein yet? Yeah, because she promised to do that one and last one. And now the Iran war is going to come out. She's going to be in the video. Yes, I know the Iran war happens. That'll be in my next video. Yes. I'm pretty sure she must be halfway done with the Epstein one when this started happening. I didn't think so. Oh boy, it's going to be a while. Oh, maybe she'll try to combine the two. Iran and the Epstein stuff. No, well, as a content creator, having too much content is a great problem to suffer from.
The UK ministry.
Keep in mind, I want to bring something up, is that the government in the UK has no problem weaponizing patriotism to send their own men out to war to potentially die. But the moment that...
Yeah. You know what? I think I'm going to end the Iran segment of this stream here now because I can't watch this entire video. And we've gotten a sense of where Asmongold is in terms of his views. He still hasn't changed anything, but I did expected it to be next week that they would change. I never expected it to be this soon. And so this will be on YouTube. Like and subscribe, and come watch on Kick or Twitch. See you next video. Bye.